Welcome to a slightly different episode this week, and that is because I'm talking about my first experience speed dating. I sit down with my pal Egg, who's going to actually turn the tables on me and ask me questions. I hope you enjoy it. It's been a long time. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, I'm all ears. Just keep it kind. Egg, thank you for joining me in talking about my speed dating. As you can tell by the tone of my voice, love it. Love it, love it, love it.
I'm sensing a hint of sarcasm.
Yes. No, I did speed dating. Here's the thing. I did speed date. Went to London, did it, because we had a conversation. And then I was like, oh, you're fucking right. I'm not really doing a lot to make this shit happen other than like bitch about apps. So I was like, for fuck's sake, hate it when people are right. I hate it when they're like, dude. So I walked out of the room and to my lodger, Molly, and I said, I'm not really doing anything. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Because the thing is I don't drink. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I don't do that because I don't see the point. And she straight away Googled speed dating. Lesbian speed dating. And she, shockingly enough, found some lesbian speed dating.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into this.
Oh, don't even. I have to say the deal was that I would sign up for lesbian speed dating if she went and did Cambo with me, which is this like frog skin secretion stuff. And you basically purge. And she was like, yes. I was totally thinking she'd be like, get fucked. But she did. She said yes. So I signed up and and then proceeded to not really think about it a lot at all until like a couple of days before. So that was great. So hit me up. Ask me some questions.
There have been some questions that other people have asked. So we're going to run through some of these. And just to give us a bit of background, one of the questions, which does make sense, just to give us a sense for anyone who's new, who's listening, when was the last time you actually dated?
The last time I dated someone I didn't know.
Are you only dating people you know? Is that how it's going?
But like I met like based on dating, like going on an app and going on a date it was definitely, how old am I? 38. It was definitely probably more than 8 years ago, because that last date I think was actually the woman that you had dated. Yeah.
Hilarious. And that's why it was unsuccessful.
Yes. So that was when I was a mature student in Bournemouth. Went out for dinner. I did date. I went on a date with someone else actually around that time. Apparently apps worked for me back then. But yeah, so that was the last time. I can't really count my ex-girlfriend as dating because we knew each other first. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it wasn't really like that.
Yep.
You know, so I can't really count that as dating. But even then, that was like 2016. So long time ago. Long time.
I suppose we talked a little bit about when you went about like having a bank of questions, but one of the questions here was, how do you know what questions to ask in the short time you have? How long do you have?
4 minutes.
Right.
With each person.
So how do you know what questions to go? Do you sort of have a bank of questions and you're asking the same one to everyone so you can compare their answers, or are you just letting the conversation flow?
Listen, I went there fully prepared with my what's your zombie apocalypse plan, like what role do you play, asking questions. Someone actually said to me, and I put these up on Instagram actually, but I had all these things of like DC, Marvel, because if you're going to be a DC fan, we can't be friends because it's shit. But Marvel, I'm on board. And all that pointless, absolutely fucking pointless. And I understand this, but what was really kind of like frustrating is, so you sit and then, you do the half and half rule. So like half of you sit, half of you move. Yep. And that's that. And then you change up again. And so I was sat at the table and then people move through. And the same questions pretty much every single time as they sat down was, is this your first time? And then it would be like, what do you do for a job?
Bored. I'm already bored.
Yeah. And I was like, but do you know what I found though with the what do you do for a job? I actually found myself cringing when I had to say social media manager. I actually found myself cringing. I don't know, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm social media manager and I create content. One of them actually said, oh no, you're not one of those influencers, are you? I'm like, couldn't be further from the truth. But do you know what I mean? Like, I cringed because I felt like I was going to be so judged. And I didn't realize that until people were asking me, what do you do?
And why? What's wrong with this job?
I think because one thing for a lot of social media managers is they battle the fact that people don't see it as a real job. Like, you're just fucking around on social media and, you know, like reading other people's tweets and stuff, when there's like, it's like a fucking like whole thing. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was going to feel like I was going to get like bracing myself to be judged on the fact that I would say social media manager, content creator, but it's my job. And so, yeah. And then one woman actually said that she hated social media because of the job that she's in. She was like, I think it's just the worst, the scum of the earth. I think it's just this, that, and the other. And I was like, great. We had this chat. Great. Thanks. Bye. So, yeah. And I was like, the thing is, social media, I'll get on my box. I'm getting on my soapbox. I think social media is, yes, one of the worst places for people to be in for mental health, and because of the bullying and the terrorism and the fucking shit that you can see on there. However, it is actually one of the most incredible places that you can find other people that are like you in any way, shape, or form, and that can bring a community together and create revolution. So it depends on what you want to see in it. But yeah, I just felt I literally was bracing for judgment all the time. And I didn't know I was going to do that.
That's really interesting. And did anybody else's jobs come up which were particularly interesting or particularly boring?
Yeah, someone was a midwife and they really were passionate about it and stuff. But otherwise, no. No one was overly passionate about stuff. And I did get the sense from a lot of people that they hated their jobs. There was one that was like, oh, I'm doing this job because I want like stability and security, but I really want to just go back out on cruise ships and sing. And I was like, well, why the fuck aren't you doing it? But that was a general sense, was that people just really didn't like what they were doing and found it really boring and just wanted a job. So I was like, okay. But yeah,
This is your first time. What job do you do? What else was being asked?
Those two were the things. Oh, where do you live? I mean, everybody was like, East London. I'm like, don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue.
You must want to live within a reasonable distance of the location of this for it to be like realistic for future dating prospects.
Listen, I have dated people in Cornwall.
Yeah.
In Newmarket when I was in Bournemouth. Apparently, I'm not great at doorstep dating. However, open to it just because it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the petrol. You definitely have to think about it. But because I'm on the outskirts of London, it's so easy to get into London, like hour you're there and stuff. So I guess if I'm going to date somebody, I'm going to have to think about the fact that that's going to be a thing, as long as they're not literally on the other side of London, because fuck that just gives me like PTSD of having to do that when I went to work. So
yeah, and if you meet someone who's worth dating, then you're kind of happy to do a bit of travel for it.
Yeah, that too. There we go.
So one of the other questions someone asked was, how many awkward silences were there?
There wasn't. However, it's amazing how 4 minutes can feel really long or really short. And there was two that night where I was like, one, this needs to end now. And two, they weren't as energetic. And I was trying, and they were just really kind of not non-responsive, but kind of like real little words coming. And I was like, shit. This is going to go into awkward silence. My brain was just like, oh God, panic mode. Come on. Keep talking. It's time's ticking. The bell, where's the bell? So yeah, there was no awkward silences. but very close to one.
Yep.
Yeah, where I was begging for the bell.
Okay. But that's good because you didn't. So 4 minutes is the right time.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
And somebody else has asked. Oh, so someone asked. This is really funny. They asked, "Were you weird?" But I like an open question, so I'm just presuming that you were a bit weird. So I was just going to ask, how weird were you?
Thanks. But define your weird. Like, were you weird?
Yeah. Do you think you were weird?
Well, you think I was weird because you're asking more like, how weird was I? So what weird would
You're going in the zombie apocalypse, mate.
That is not weird. That is absolutely, after COVID-19, fucking valid.
Did you actually get to ask this question?
No, I fucking didn't. It says a lot about people and their skills. No, I didn't. Was I weird? I don't think I was weird. Sometimes I get a bit performative and go into comedian mode.
Yeah.
And like self-deprecate, but not in a like, whoa, she's got issues kind of way, but just more kind of, I brought up the fact that I panic and I hate small talk, but when I panic, I go into small talk and start talking about the weather.
Yeah.
Which was actually quite funny. And they found it quite funny and played along with it. So yeah, no, was I weird? No, I actually don't think I was weird.
Nice. Nailed it.
Shut up. Condescending fuck.
Oh. All right, the other question someone asked is, were you nervous?
No. Shockingly enough, I was not nervous. Molly was everything. She was excited. She was nervous. She was anxious. She was like, oh my God. Because I called Molly my handler and even was honest with people within the speed dating group that she was my handler, making sure that I actually got through the door and didn't just kind of walk past and leave. Yeah. Just like, nope.
If you weren't feeling nervous, why do you need that?
Just in case I did. Because I have this thing where I don't normally like get in touch with my feelings about something until I actually have to do it. So I switch off and I'm just not bothering. And then, so it could have been that I got to the door and went, nah, fuck this. I'm going to go and like eat some food somewhere or something. But yeah, she found it brilliant, but she was nervous, and maybe that was why I wasn't, because someone else was, so I didn't need to be. But no, I wasn't actually nervous. It was actually quite shocking.
That's great. Yeah. Then. I mean, to go into it and just feel like, do you think on some level it was because you didn't care?
Explain, didn't care.
Like were you going in being quite hopeful, or were you going in with the attitude of, this probably isn't going to work? Trying to understand like what headspace.
Yeah, no, I don't think I went into it as though this was already a done deal and this wasn't going to work and I just wasted £20 and all I've got is stories to tell. Right. But no, I was open to it, but also aware that not many people walk into a room, meet the love of their life and go, nailed it. Yeah, I was open to it. I wasn't like, this isn't going to work, but just, I wasn't putting a lot of weight on it.
Good.
Look, yeah.
To be in. I mean, if you go in not feeling superly emotionally charged either way, then that's probably a good place to be.
Yeah, I think so. It's not that I wasn't hopeful, because I feel like you do need to have a little bit of hope, otherwise what's the point? But it was the first time I haven't dated in a long time, new people. You know, the whole point of it is that you are there to talk to people, like you're on the spot and stuff. I wasn't putting my ego into it. So if nothing happened, it was okay.
So speaking of that, was there anyone who you would date?
Funny story. You're supposed to, at the end of it, go online and then say yes, no friend to each thing. Fucking hell, each person. Dehumanizing everyone. So yeah, so you're supposed to go online and do that, and you've got till like 5 o'clock the next day. Well, I started doing that, got distracted, and then didn't finish it. So,
absolute twat. What? Oh my God. So you don't even know who would have friend node, like, how does it work? You just get doing your matches?
the profiles pop up, and then you get to say yes, no, friend. So like, yes, I want to explore this. No, I don't. Or let's be friends.
Yeah.
And I did say at the end of the night to everybody when the woman was like, oh yeah, you like, yes, no, friends. And I was like, I don't know what's worse, no or friend. Like,
Yeah.
friend zone. But yeah, so yeah, I went through it and not all profiles were up and there weren't pictures.
Oh, so you have to remember what they're called.
Yeah.
The names.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck. And so I was like, there was some definite no's, some very definite no's, very hard no's. And then, yeah, I got distracted and
Would there have been any yeses?
One potentially.
We need to try and find her now. Let's get this word out.
No, the thing is what intrigued me about her was that I felt like I had met her before, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there was something that was really familiar about her. So whether it was that I saw someone else in her, and so that's why she was familiar or what, I don't know. But yeah, I would have said yes to her, but I didn't. And I've got 2 matches who I don't know who they are. So
you still get people. So even though you didn't get your thing on time, you still get feedback from the other side.
I know that there's 2 matches, but I don't know who they are because I didn't say yes to them. So you only find out who said yes to you if you say yes to them.
Right. But you didn't get your thing in at all, or were you able to just get it in late and they still used it?
I only did a few of them because not all of them had pictures yet.
Okay, right.
So I was waiting for them to get pictures, got distracted, and then the whole day just disappeared, you know? And you can't go backwards. You can't go back and do it. So there's 2 matches. I don't know who they are. So yeah.
So how are you feeling about that?
I think it's quite quintessentially me, for fuck's sake. I got distracted and then that was that.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Are you going to do it again?
I probably will. Maybe like August or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Get my life sorted first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, it must have been a reasonably positive experience if you're up for doing it again.
It didn't make me go, oh, fucking hell. There was one, though, that just info dumped.
Right.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it was a long 4 minutes of a lot of information. Now if you only say your name once, I'm probably not going to remember your name. And just, wow, just like thing after thing after thing, like what she does, what she used to do, what's happening now, and like health issues, and bang, 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 not looking, she lives on her own. She's not looking to live with anybody and just, you know, date and da, 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 da. And I was like, oh shit, like this is a lot. And then she finally did ask me a question.
Yeah.
And she asked me if I like to travel, if I like to go away and things. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I went to Barcelona for a couple of days not long ago. Straight away, hate Barcelona, hate Spain, love Italy, but. And I was like, cool, all right, cool, but. And then she was like, what do you like to do? And I was like, well, I'm quite into CrossFit. But. And I was like, 4 minutes, come on, 4 minutes. Where's that bell? Fucking ring that bell.
I suppose if anything, it's a lesson in what you don't want to be.
What, an info dumper?
Yes.
Hashtag info dumper. Yeah. No, don't want to be that.
No. What did you learn about yourself as part of this experience?
Oh, I only realised this at the weekend, actually. I've learned that I've been holding on to this idea that I was still the same person that I was like 10 years ago. And I'm actually not that person. You know, when you haven't seen someone in a very long time. So in your mind, forget social media, but in your mind, they still look the same they did the last time you saw them.
Yeah.
And it's only when you see them again that you're like, oh shit, you got old. And like, and that was what happened for me at the weekend. I realized that part of my hesitance to date people and to meet people and stuff is because in my mind, I was still that person from 10 years ago that was very much thinking they were going to get rejected because I'm weird, or all of these hang-ups and all of these things. And I couldn't possibly be that person anymore.
Yeah.
Because of all the work that I've done. And I didn't realize it until the weekend where I was like, oh, yeah, that was completely unjustified, which was a really nice realization, to the point where I nearly emailed my therapist to go, hey, so I know we've stopped sessions now, but I just wanted you to know I just did speed dating and fuck, man. So yeah, but I'm not that same person, but I've held on to that idea because I haven't been given myself the opportunity to test out whether I am, which is a big lesson in letting go of the person you thought you were.
It's really easy to hold on to those ideas. And that's why it's really exciting to be in a room of brand new people who don't know you, who don't have any expectations, because you can really embrace this new self and be you without anybody expecting anything from you from your past.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize that I had that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
And what do you think are the biggest changes that you thought about?
Just that I wasn't hanging my self-worth on it. That's a huge thing for me, is self-worth, and not feeling worthy of other people's attention and time, and what I'm into and what I do is not of a standard for other people. And yeah, I walked in there and yes, okay, so I was bracing myself for judgment on being a social media manager, but not because I don't think it's worth it, but because I'm very used to how other people see that kind of role. So it was less about my feelings and more about them. I can do these things and not walk away rating my self-worth based on their reactions and their responses. So regardless, even if I didn't find them attractive, I probably 10 years ago would have been like, why didn't they like me? Like, rude. Why? Whereas now I'm like, oh, okay. 2 matches out of what? There was 11 of us there, I think.
Oh, so it's not a massive event.
It's Lesbians Egg. Do you know what I mean?
Not enough of them. Not enough.
Well, there's not enough of them, but there's enough. Oh, it's fucking ridiculous.
Something you mentioned at the start is like being sober, and how that you talked about that, like it's a barrier in terms of meeting people.
It was interesting actually, because people did make a comment about the fact that I was drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd sit down with their drink and they'd be like, oh, you're drink, is that water? And I was like, yes, I don't drink. And then they'd ask you why. And I was like, the problem with exploring that conversation is that a lot of people, when they hear your why, immediately think you're going to judge them because they drink. Yep. When I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less if you drink. If you're not being a dickhead, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. So yeah, that was something I wasn't prepared to explain it.
Yeah.
So I didn't quite know or have the words to explain it. But yeah, it did kind of hit home that, you know, drinking is, and even on the apps, like drinking seems to be quite a big part. So yeah, having a look at sober events probably wouldn't be a bad shout, to be fair.
There's loads of them up here, so I imagine London's full of it.
Full of it, yeah.
Well, it's just another, like, it's thinking about meeting people that are like-minded, isn't it?
Mm.
So trying to explore what other options. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of options for you, bud. Where can you go to meet people?
It's fine.
What's the CrossFit lesbian scene like? I know that's getting even more niche, but is there one?
It's getting a little bit more.
Because I know loads of lesbian CrossFitters.
Well, I don't go to a CrossFit box.
Oh yeah, you do your own thing.
Yeah. I don't go to a CrossFit box. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Going to an event next week or the week after, because my friends are going to be there doing competing and stuff. So maybe I'll just look out for some lesbians.
Yeah.
Although harder when you're like, if you're going to be stereotypical about it. Women with muscles, lesbian. Clearly not.
No, they're just CrossFitters.
Yeah. Fuck. But yeah, so I do need to explore that and explore all of what is out there. Obviously, the speed dating will probably be a yes again. But what else is out there will be an interesting one, especially in London. Brentwood, not so much. No, not so much.
Something that happens up here, I don't know if it's because it's slightly more countryside, but there's lots of like lesbian walks.
Of course there is. You should know about that.
Yeah, but it's not. But I don't go to this. But I've got a couple of friends who go to these things. And it does seem to be like, as we get to this age, approaching 40, I think lesbians like to go walking in groups.
The thing is, there's something about a group of lesbians. And again, because the last time I was around a group of lesbians was like hardcore gay scene, being in. So when I was a kid, when I was out drinking and doing all that kind of stuff, it was, we'd go to the G, the Granby in Reading. We'd go to the Dove pub, which was round the corner first, and stuff like that. And it was very heavily like football, that kind of footballer vibe, and just the scene was very incestuous. It was very kind of, in a way, masculine, but not so much, not just in the way that everybody looked masculine, but very just kind of, laddish behavior and stuff. And again, that's what I've got in my brain about groups of lesbians, that just, it's not the greatest vibe.
I'm wondering, is there a collective term for a group of lesbians? Because I think there should be. What would it be?
There absolutely should be a collective term.
We need to come up with something really good for that.
I had the worst one in my head.
Go on.
I think it's used for something else. Clam jam.
Oh, that is so hilarious, because that came up. That's just come up recently. It's like the lesbian version of cock block.
Oh.
That's so funny. A clam jam of lesbians. I think we can come up with something better.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. That was shit. Oh, fuck. Don't come to me for a slogan. Oh, God, a gaggle of lesbians. There's something about that, like that I still have that old hang up about groups of lesbians being very, very laddish. And
yeah, I think we keep talking, don't we, about like how we are evolving. I think the scene is evolving, and being queer, that is evolving too, and what it means. And there's so much more diversity now. I'm not really in the scene at all, but when I do come across these kinds of groups, or I do go to these types of events, it always amazes me just how diverse they are. And it used to be, as you say, when you go to a gay bar when we were younger, it was like really butch femme vibes, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really was that kind of really
the jeans with the Calvin Klein pants.
Yeah, you can just see the Calvin Klein pants over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that at all now. That doesn't exist anymore from what I see.
I was going to say, is there even a scene? Really?
Yeah, I don't know if there is.
No.
You don't really have, maybe in a few places, but you don't really come across like gay bars anymore, do you? Or gay pubs. It's just,
no.
It's more like we'll gather in this place and we'll claim it for the evening or whatever.
Exactly. So what is the word for a lesbian group?
I mean, I do like gaggle, but I know that's obviously used for geese. So it needs to begin with L. It needs to be alliteration, doesn't it?
I'll come up. Bug the fuck out of me now.
Yeah, we'll take some ideas from anyone who listens.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, it has changed a lot since, like being a late teenager, being in that kind of scene and stuff. I have no idea. I honestly just don't know what it looks like anymore, which is weird. It's weird to not know. It's weird to be part of the LGBTQAI plus community and not actually know what it looks like.
It kind of exists online now, doesn't it? And being an ally is like represented through likes and shares rather than a lot of action.
Still stuck on a name for a lesbian group, but yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm really glad the lesbian speed dating was ultimately, synopsis, positive experience, one to do again. And I mean, you've got a little grin on your face, so I think it looks like, it's worthwhile experience. It was. I have to say, Molly, bless her, like Molly was sat there.
Did Molly get any matches? Did Molly get any matches?
You know what? She fucking probably would have done. Because I had two friends that were going to come along, and Molly was one of them. and my friend Lauren, and they had at first said they were going to buy tickets. And I was like, please don't do that, because you're going to take people away. Because we did this with an app called Vegly. So there's an app for vegetarian and vegans, a dating app.
Right.
And I went on there to see what it was like, and then jokingly turned Lauren's into a lesbian profile. Yeah. And overnight she had like 200 likes. So I'm like, fuck off. All right. Fuck off. I have to work harder to make my personality shine through.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Molly didn't actually take part. She just got you there.
She got me there. She sat down and was having a drink, while waiting for us to do our thing. And then at one point there was a break halfway through. And I just saw this. You just imagine this woman sitting in this large backed chair, turned around, because I'd gone outside to speak to one of the women. And I just saw this phone kind of creep up past the chair. And I was like, Molly, what are you doing? And she was taking pictures.
Oh.
But evidence that I was one there, but also that I was talking to people.
Right.
Yeah. However, I did get called out on the fact that, did I remember people's names?
Yep.
Because halfway through, I went outside to speak to the one that felt familiar to me.
Yep.
Went out to chat to her. She said my name, and she went, you don't remember my name, do you? And I was like, well, I'm dyslexic and ADHD, so there's a very good chance that that's not going to happen, because you said it once. And then I was like, fuck, what's her name? What is her fucking name? And I was like, almost like Rolodex in my brain, just like, brrr, like trying to fucking find what her name was. Got it right eventually. Well, but yeah, that says a lot. Like, people are going to have some fucking patience, because, I forget people's names that I've known for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? Only
Very
hearing it once.
When someone says it once and then you start talking to them, it is really tricky to remember that in that kind of scenario.
Of
and
course.
If you write it down, you could make notes. Is it appropriate to make notes at speed dating?
I feel like if I rocked up with a pen and paper, that would then enter me into that, were you weird?
I was thinking that'd be a really handy thing to do.
Yeah, no. Because then it really would be weird. I'd be like, hang on a minute. Sorry, how do you spell your name?
Making notes.
Yeah. So hashtag info dumper. Like, just no. No. If people do, they did not then. But you don't even get to actually sit with everybody.
Yeah, because you've got people who you're on the same side as.
Yeah, but then halfway through, and then they switch it up.
Yeah.
And you meet other people, but you didn't actually meet everyone.
There's only 11 people in the room and you didn't meet all 10 of the other people.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then at the end, there's like half an hour where you can just network at the end. Well, I was at the bar anyway, because Molly was finishing.
Isn't it more mingling?
Sorry, mingling, yes. Fuck off. And so I was at the bar, but honestly, everybody just got up and just went out the door.
Oh, really? No one?
Yeah, it was like 2 people did, but they were chatting to each other. Otherwise, no one hung around. So it was like, oh, okay, goodbye. But we were there. Molly's finishing her drink and waiting for a friend. But yeah, that was weird. But also, there was a lot of people there that seemed to be there for friends. So one of the first women I spoke to had an accent, which unfortunately for me is actually really difficult because of my processing.
Yeah,
it's really difficult. Even northern accents can be hard for me. Like my brother-in-law can speak to me and I'm staring at him and he's like, you don't know what I just said, do you? And I was like, no, I don't. Slow it down for me, please. Say it 3 times and spin around. But yeah, so I was like, I'm really sorry. You just have to slow down. Turns out she was Russian, but it sounded French. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, she was there purely because her friend had messaged her that morning saying she wasn't going to go. And so she was like, well, you are going. I'm going to get a ticket and I'm going to come with you. So essentially another handler, but a gay handler.
Yeah.
So could take part. And then there was three women there who were, you could tell they were younger. You know, you can just,
was there an age limit on it or an age? No, 18 plus.
Yeah. And it really felt like the 3 of them were just there for a night out.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They were there just for a night out.
But how long does the whole thing last if you're speaking to less than 10 people for 4 minutes each and then no one hangs around? You're not going to be that.
No, well, it kicked off at like just after 7:30 and done by 9, 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, way past my bedtime. I was dead.
Oh, especially you've got to get home from there. Yeah, totally.
I was on the tube and I was just like, kill me down. Just put me down.
You need like a matinee.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
Exactly like Jamie Lee Curtis said about concerts. Where are the matinee concerts?
Where are the matinees?
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
We need activities in our lives.
Look, I don't know if it's because I'm staring down the barrel of 40, but that would be really appreciated. Lunchtime speed dating. Do you know what I mean? Go to work.
Yeah.
Pop off. Do a bit of speed dating. Meet as many people as you possibly can in the space of an hour.
Yeah.
Get back to work.
You should set this up.
Nailed it. Thank you very much.
Business idea right there. Matinees and lunchtime speed dating. I think there's a big market for it.
Dude, honestly.
I don't know if it's just because we are both reasonably healthy and like into healthy lifestyle, but there's a lot of people I meet who do not want to do late nights anymore.
Yeah. That is one thing I fear about people, though. It is the fact, because we joke here at the commune that we get to 7:30, it's like time for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh, 9 o'clock is past your bedtime. And I'm like, listen, we joke, but it's true. When you're waking up at like anywhere between 4 and 5:30, naturally, you need your time.
You need
before.
to go, you need the sleep. It's important for your health.
Exactly.
Not to be scoffed at, the value of sleep.
Exactly. And I need it. And so, yeah, that to me was the only off-putting thing, is that when you have to then make the trek home, which is about, in total, probably door to door, about an hour and 10. But I was done. I was absolutely just hammered. To be fair, it wasn't the greatest week for me in like kind of like bad news situations. So I didn't know if I would have the energy. But again, that, like I said at the beginning, like the performative bit came out in me, which means that I can draw energy out of fuck knows where and get the task done. But then that come down is just like, holy shit, fuck. So yeah, no, I will definitely do it again, purely because it is a quick way of doing it. I feel like it's one step away from apps.
Yeah.
Because you get to meet people in real life, but however, there's still the swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah, totally. But I think this is why it's great, because you want to just get that immediate sense of like, is there some chemistry here?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's way more efficient than all the faffing about where you swipe, and you might swipe someone who you've actually got great chemistry. You might swipe the wrong way, someone that you've got great chemistry with in real life. And I think that you're really missing that on the apps. And equally, certainly I find when I was using apps or when I have been using apps I definitely like, I'm looking for the same traits all the time. Always looking for, I'm really looking for like runners or cyclists or whatever, or people who with the same interests as me. But actually, you might meet someone with completely different interests to you. You have amazing chemistry with. And so being chucked into a bit more of a random mix situation, I think is really healthy.
Yeah, I think so. And also, if you are hesitant about dating, like seeing one person specifically for a long time, like in a, dinner situation or something, that's a long time. So I think that this is kind of almost like that middle ground. Yeah. To be able to just ease yourself into it. Will I be able to work out whether I have chemistry with someone? I have no idea what that looks like or feels like right now. So yeah, I think I need to do it a couple more times and then, we'll see.
I think if you've got chemistry with someone, you know about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, it's not like that thing when you know.
Oh, fuck off.
When we took, since this is about love and all that shit, I do think if there's a little, if there's definitely like a spark when you meet someone who you're like, okay, there's something here. I think you know that. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. But yeah, so that was my first ever speed dating experience and my first experience of dating in maybe 8 to 10 years.
And I suppose last question from me then is, you already said that you want to do this again. What are you going to take forward next time as you're learning to make the next experience better? Oh,
I'm just going to interrupt them and say, I don't care what you do and I don't care where you live. What is your zombie apocalypse plan and what role do you play?
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I'm taking over the questions. Oh, no, I totally forgot. Limp handshakes.
Oh, so you did handshakes?
Oh, like I know, but I was sat there, so they would walk over, sit in the chair, and then straight away put their hand out.
Right.
You're going to shake my hand. I expect it to be confident. I expect it to be strong because you're initiating the handshake.
Yep.
Every single fucking handshake was limp.
Limp.
A limp fucking handshake, which is weird and physically actually makes me feel weird. It makes my hand feel weird.
It's a horrible thing to experience.
It is. And I experienced that like 8 times or something.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing.
I mean, also, you don't want a limp-wristed lesbian. That's just no good.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. But every single limp handshake, I don't understand what that was about.
I find it weird to actually have a handshake in this situation in general.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think what happened was someone may have started it.
You're
and
right.
so then it just kind of like the questions of like, is it your first time or whatever? I think it just kind of carried on.
Yeah.
But honestly, don't fucking shake my hand. Just don't. I don't. Although maybe a good indication, as you say, if they've got a limp handshake, then they're probably not strong on that front. But no, it's not. It's a turn off.
Go for a fist bump.
Not sure how I feel about that either, but maybe. That'd be weird. Can you imagine that? Like seeing 2 people come together, one goes for the handshake and the other one's like, hey. It's like,
and then they end up like doing an awkward thing where they sort of grab your fist.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. Like,
I mean, I won.
Yeah. Oh, best out of 3. Yeah. So anyway, yes, that's it. That's my experience. And yeah, I'll do it again.
Outstanding.